Hello and welcome back. Today I'll be reviewing or just talking about Star Trek: The Search for Spock from 1984. So now we're 2 years on from the second film, The Wrath of Khan, which was excellent, really great, and a massive change up from the original motion picture. So now we're 2 years ahead from the sequel, and we've kept on with the more action orientated storyline, where there's a bit more going on, a bit more to keep you on your feet. And again, like it's a sci-fi. It's in the sci-fi genre, and it's characters, reoccurring characters that we've known for like many years, and yet the storytellers still can have you on the edge, of like with the stakes. Like honestly, there are so many stakes in this film. I mean, I say so many. Um, there's tragedies around the corner. Let's say, um, yeah, and I just love that. I love that. Like even though like these are characters that you've grown to love, and in hindsight, in 2022, like we know that they made so many motion pictures, and the series has continued. But like at the time, I do not know how you guys were handling this. I don't know how you guys were handling it seriously, because like it just like there's so many stakes, honestly. And even if it's not the main characters, the actors do a phenomenal job of like portraying their characters' emotion at those painful moments for the characters in Star Trek. Now, the plot revolves around, it's a straight continuation of Wrath of Khan. So Spock's coffin has been shot around the atmosphere of planet Genesis, and has landed, and uh, James Kirk gets these weird messages, voices, involving another character, um, that sort of leaves a lot to the imagination of why he's hearing like Spock's voice. And of course, the title of the film is The Search for Spock. So I mean, like, I'm not beating around the bush, am I? Really, it's hard to. They go back and search for Spock. These little like sort of encrypted, I guess. Yeah, encrypted, because James doesn't really know how to decipher what's being said because of the whole mind meld powers that are going through a certain character to make James aware. But James is like, what's going on? You know. So yeah, he seeks counsel from some Vulcans, and again, that just like with this film, we globetrot. That's too small a word, I guess. We planet planet trot. We're going to multiple locations, which I really like to see in Star Trek, because it just expands the world, which we know that like Star Trek would have. It's intergalactic. It spans multiple planets, and we know that by now. So it's great to see that they go to these different locations. Yeah, and like given the plot, so they're making their way back to like Starfleet, which I'm pretty sure is Earth, right, or the orbit of Earth. I'm not actually sure if I've ever paid attention enough to that, but yeah, they go back to Starfleet with a really damaged Enterprise, because obviously the ship was took heavy damage from their battle with Khan. Um, so again, we're now, instead of it being fully functional in Wrath of Khan, we're now into a dilapidated and damaged Enterprise, which I never like to see. We want the Enterprise fully fit. Um, yeah, so they dock, and I'm thinking, okay, how long are we going to spend here? I thought there was going to be some urgency, given it's a search for Spock, and I think the film time runs in under 1 hour and 50 minutes. Um, so yeah, and being given that they're back at Starfleet, it gives the time for them to sort of not be like in battle mode, or journey across the galaxy. So we actually see the characters, I think, for the first time ever, out of their service uniforms, like in plain clothes. And the star of the show is probably not Kirk's jacket, but Sulu's outfit. Sulu just gives off like just he loves dressing up, doesn't he? He really loves it. He's like coat slash cloak, poncho thing, and then he punches up some Starfleet attendant guard when Admiral James T. Kirk, um, comes up with a plan to get the heck out of Starfleet and get back on the Enterprise and go and search for their dearest friend Spock. And look, they all love Spock and they'll do anything. And like they'll give up their freedom and their positions and their roles in Starfleet just to go and see if Spock is alive, or even if they can catch his like soul to give back to his home planet. That's how much all of these reoccurring characters that we admire and love. That's how much respect and love they have for Spock, right? So yeah, we get some rebellious moments, which I love. I love seeing like rebellious sort of subordination from our main heroes, against their own people. So yeah, they break out in cool fashion, and here we go. We're off on our way, to find Spock back to Genesis. Yeah, so we get more Sulu, which I'm always grateful for. Chekhov Sulu gets more than what Chekhov gets, which I'm happy about. No knock to Chekhov. It's just like, I don't know, like Sulu and Uhura were there in season 1, and I just love those characters. And it's a shame because Uhura, again, very minimal screen time. She does have a wicked sort of a role to play in like the plot to break out of Starfleet. Really like that, and like see, that makes me rue the missed opportunity even more because she's so cool whenever she's on screen and it's so little time, But yeah, loved her little role. She played a pivotal role. I have to get anything I can get from Uhura, the storytellers should use what they would for other characters. For her character, they should just write the lines for other characters and then use her instead of, these bit part characters. Yeah. So, Kirk's son, David, is still in the mix because he's on Genesis. He's obviously a scientist. We don't have his mother anymore. That's explained, I think. But we have what's her name? She's like of half Vulcan, half something. She's with David now, and obviously now they're in danger now because obviously there has to be a big bad enemy, and there is in the Klingons, and like the new so the Klingons got like a revamped like prosthetics and look, didn't they, in maybe the motion picture, or Wrath of Khan, and it worked really well. Like, that's the classic look we all know now from like the Next Generation and stuff. So yeah, they look wicked. And I just love the name of their ship, like a bird of prey, and the green is a little bit, I don't know, I'm not used to that really. What do you call it, like maybe not lime green? It's like a quite, I don't know, but I'm not sure if maybe the color will grow on me of their bird of prey Klingon ship. But the ship overall is really cool, and I love saying that name for the ship. So yeah, and like the big bad, he's like not some like godlike, powerful nemesis, but he's very ruthless. He's just killing people willy nilly. He's quite ruthless actually, but yeah, he has this like, I really loved his character, by the way, like because he's like ruthless and horrible, but like he plays his role right for what he is. Like he thinks his crew is the one doing right. They want the power of Genesis, of course they do. Even though like Genesis has been known to be unstable and it's not really going the course. But yeah, that's the thing with villains. Sometimes they don't really see sense, do they? They're greedy. They want the power to themselves. Yeah, so he's ruthless, but he's also got like a really, not necessarily comedic edge, but things he does that just made me laugh. But not in a silly way. Just in a way that, like, yeah, I guess, yes, like some silly things that I like laughed at, that were just obviously played for jokes, but not played in a way that like you're mocking it. So that you just laugh. Yeah. So yeah, okay. So let's get to did I enjoy the film? I think at this stage you're gonna have to call me a fanboy of Star Trek because yeah, I mean I enjoyed it. So it's free for free now. Um, really enjoyed the film. I loved like the fact that like we're going to different locations and like there's real fights going on. It's weirdly paced. That's my major criticism of the film. Although it comes in under an hour 50 minutes, it's weirdly paced because although during the film there are really great entertaining moments that I love, that are probably going to go down as my favorite so far out of the three films. Like certain moments, um, it's just in a way like the first half they're still like not even halfway to Genesis and like fighting anybody. They're like being rebellious and like we're getting certain scenes of I'm grateful that we're there, but could have been, it's just the pacing was a bit off. And then before you know it, like the film's over. So it certainly didn't drag. You can't ever say that about it. I just don't know pacing. I don't know, very off. But like even then, like I really enjoyed this film. Um, I I don't know if I'll rank it right now between like the first three that I've seen because they're all so different as well. I mean, it's most similar to the second one than the first, but yet again, it's really different from the second one because the writing is not as good. Like Wrath of Khan writing is phenomenal story. This one is good. Um, yeah, like we get Scotty. Scotty's still like so he loves the Enterprise so much, and he's like obviously that's the thing with Star Trek, right? We're growing with these characters, and like what I like about the writing and the thought that goes into these characters is like they're growing as well. They're aging. They're not just um, staying in one place as this like image that we saw from like the very first episode of the original series. Like they're growing, and they're acting as people that experienced the previous film. So like, we now understand that like Scotty would do anything to just stay on Enterprise forever and just he doesn't want to work on these brilliant, bold, new fancy ships. He just wants to stay on Enterprise. Um, McCoy's his own entity. He's like a bit full of like cynicism, but like he's also like he loves his mates by now. And we know that too, even when he's not showing it. And he had this wicked moment in like a bar back at Starfleet when he talks to this like creepy alien smuggler dude, um, and he really gets to like show his acting ability there when he's sort of like mind melded. That was a really cool scene. So yeah, we get to this like end, and like that's when the stakes really appear because like even though I said about it's like it's not a tale of two halves because like what yeah okay one half is more certainly the first half is lighter, much lighter in tone than the second half, even though the whole film overall never really dampens the tone. It's never really like okay now we have to like sit with what we just experienced for long moments of time. It keeps you upbeat, it keeps your spirits high after such tragedy. If you don't want to hear what happened in the film, bail out. Okay. Yeah, like I mean, so in Wrath of Khan, we get that devastating moment where like Spock dies, right? That's devastating for any fan to endure, especially not knowing if there was a film coming after. I was really hurt by what happened in this film. Like we lost a character, like the Enterprise. Like they blew the Enterprise up. Like the Enterprise. I've experienced the Enterprise for 80 episodes of a television series, and then these three films, and it's been like tempted whether like they'd ever do that. Like Kirk, there's been many episodes of the original series where like Kirk has threatened the enemy into pretending that he's gonna like explode his ship to like stop the enemy, prevent them from doing what they're doing in certain situations. But like he's pulled the trigger here. They kill his son. Um, they did just dead David off. Like so that's what I mean about this villain. He's not playing around, and I love that. Love that the stakes are so high. Like I really didn't think they were going to kill David. I thought when the three were lined up, he was definitely going to be the half Klingon. Because I just thought that would be the easy option. I thought, yeah, the producers, the filmmakers are going to go for the easy option. They're not going to kill off David, where like he could play a role in future films, or like be like a character to be besides Kirk at the end of the film. No, they went for it, and I'm really happy that he did, because it meant that like Kirk, William Shatner, who plays Kirk, had this fantastic moment where like he just falls to his knees, falls on the floor, and he's just aghast. He can't believe what's just transpired, you know. Um, and then being the captain, or should I say admiral? I see him as Captain James T. Kirk, but he is admiral now. So he gets back up on his feet. He decides, yeah, this time is it. Like I've got to like get one up on the enemy now, or we're gonna be uh, um captured by them. You know, we're gonna be prisoners of war. And like I don't think this Klingon dude is messing about at all. So they abandon ship, get on Genesis, and the last final battle. So like the film really sort of like picks up, goes towards the end, and we get the battle. Uh, that all gets finished up, and of course, like the final battle is like played like with the backdrop of like volcanoes and fiery sort of like eruptions that are going on, just to sort of visualize the sort of momentous occasion going on between hero and bad versus evil. You know, bad, good versus evil. That was like it's Hollywood sort of like cliche stuff there, isn't it? But it makes sense because the planet is, you know, imploding. Yeah. And then like, you know, one final time we go to Vulcan. Vulcan? Yeah, Spock's homeworld, and this big ceremony to see if we can get Spock back for good. Like his body may be there, but he needs his wits about him, you know. So that's a really cool sort of like just to end the film, just to slow it down, gather our thoughts, and see this little like a sweet moment between all the recurring characters when they give all their looks to each other and whatnot. So I think I've got everything I wanted to say. The sound effect really cool. Score really nice. Um, yeah, like the concern for Spock from all the characters is really nice to see. Um, yeah, yeah, I think I've got everything I wanted to say for now. Yeah, that was Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Really enjoyed it. Free for free. Thank you.